Hey guys, RPG Shactics here, and today I actually want to go over. I want to talk about PC gaming and how it has become the best way to enjoy video games, honestly, especially with the rising costs, endless subscriptions, and companies constantly pulling the rug out from underneath us gamers. And before anyone says, "Oh my gosh, here we go, this guy, PC fanboy here, trying to get us to change the console," here we go, here he is, another guy, another one. Somebody called J2 Cents. Hear me out. I was a console gamer through and through. I used to play consoles all the time. My passion started on the Nintendo 64 with classics like Turok and Super Mario. Then came the PS1 with Spider-Man and followed by the Xbox 360, the PSP, the Xbox One, the PS4, Xbox Series X, PS5, Nintendo Switch. We've get the point. I went through all of these, man. Trust me. I've experienced every generation and watched consoles slowly lose their magic, especially since the Xbox One era when things started to feel a little hollow in terms of value, passion, and innovation. I'm not trying to convince anyone for personal gain here. Hell, I don't even get paid for these videos, man. I make them because I love gaming. I love learning to edit these things and connecting with others who feel the same way. I also know how intimidating it can be to even get into PC gaming in the first place, and how difficult it may seem because yeah, you gotta pick parts for your computer. You gotta like look through what is considered a good, what's considered a good build, and all kind of stuff like that, and rebuilding a library of games. But it's not as nearly as scary as people make it sound, especially today's day and age where we have a lot of like help and stuff like that from the PC space. Meanwhile, I can't stand seeing players pay just to play online with their friends, needing subscriptions for basic discounts, get bombarded with ads on their dashboards, and pay near PC prices for hardware that can't even match what a decent PC can do. So, with all that said, here are my three main reasons why PC gaming is genuinely better, plus a few tips on making building and your first PC or buying your first PC more simple and stress free. Starting with reason number one, which is put it easy, sales. One of the biggest issue with consoles today is how limited and inconsistent sales have become, especially when compared to PC. Back in the day, you could walk into a GameStop and hunt for a used copy just to save a few bucks. But now everything is kind of, that was part of the fun. But now everything's digitalized because they force everything to be digital now, because they claim it's going to be easier, whatever the case may be, less cost, less e-waste, whatever you want to call it. Those opportunities are now gone, though. Now, PlayStation and Nintendo are probably the most notorious offenders here, since at least Xbox give players some incentive to Game Pass, which is at least they used to. I mean, now it's $30 a month, so there goes that. But PlayStation and Nintendo tends to be notorious here because they almost never give sales. Like they very rarely give sales. The main issue is that console games can stay about $70 for months on end, waiting for players to cave in because of FOMO or simple frustration that the price never drops. Meanwhile, on PC, sales happen ridiculously often, like almost every month. Steam alone has so many major discounts that it feels like they're on their eighth sale of the year at this point. Games can be heavily discounted for weeks at a time, and the value you get from these deals are honestly insane. I actually remember getting both Final Fantasy remakes as an example. I could go on all day about this, but I remember grabbing both Final Fantasy remakes for $50 total, and a friend of mine picked up Cyberpunk 2077 and Phantom Liberty expansion for just $19.99. These deals are very rare on Xbox, stuff like that, and usually you have to catch them very like in between and stuff. These sales here are always here. Trust me, like almost every month you'll see these sales. And Steam isn't even your only option. Platforms like Epic Game Store sometimes offer the same titles even cheaper. Though keeping up with like every storefront can be like a little tedious. I'm not gonna lie, with the whole Epic Games, Ubisoft, and all that bullshit. So I usually recommend just sticking to Steam since it's the go-to hub for most PC gamers. Then there's the beauty of day one sales, and trust me, you've heard that right. It's day one sales, where websites like Instant Gaming or G2A and stuff like that regularly offer newly released titles for way less than retail price sometimes. For example, I grabbed Borderlands 4 for like $54 before tax instead of the painful $76 price tag that they try to put on these games nowadays. That kind of flexibility gives you way more purchasing power, and it lets you build a much larger, more diverse library. You even end up trying games you might otherwise skip, like Lords of the Fallen, which I snagged on a sale for $15, and now it's one of the best Souls-like games I've ever played. And while yes, Game Pass can still be appealing, its 50% price hike once again has made it far less stable and reliable in the long term. Console pricing models are also showing the cracks too a lot, with like things like getting rid of like small incentives and stuff that they used to have, like the reward system and whatever the case may be. And again, if that's not really your thing, or if it's not really convincing to you, or you don't find a value in that, let's move on to reason number two, which is hardware. Reason, it, I've had to be blunt when I say I must have taken the biggest L when believing the hype behind the so-called power of next-gen consoles. Oh my gosh, we got the power of next-gen consoles, the power of Xbox, and the 4K FPS, and the 4K 60 frames per second, 4K 120 frames. Man, I couldn't have been more disappointed in this generation. This is the worst generation that's ever come out for both the Xbox and the PlayStation, hands down. The biggest culprit was Xbox though, because it was given by its little brother, the Xbox Series S, and that whole talk about 4K experience at 60 FPS, 120 FPS. Man, only thing that came out with those type of performances was Dirt, Forza, and Gears of War, I think, and that was pretty much about it. Starfield came out 38 frames per second. Like, couldn't lie this turned out to be. Most games have to be heavily upscaled too. If you want 60 FPS, it's often a blurry mess with frame drops and heavy reliance on your TV's refresh rate. This would all be fine if prices just drop naturally, but they're worse than ever before. In fact, prices have only gone up. Prices are like $800 now for a freaking console. Some Xbox consoles are $800. The PS5 Pro is $800 without even the freaking stand. With the regular PS5 would then end up eventually being overshadowed by the PS5 Pro, because eventually they're going to start to only really try to, give all the benefits of the PS5. It's happened time and time again. They're going to only get the benefits of the PS5 Pro and all this kind of shit, and you're going to end up being forced to buy the PS5 Pro, and then the PS5 6, the PS5 6, the PS6 comes out, and it's going to be like $1,000. And that's if they even keep making these damn consoles, because they're starting to hit a ceiling of like their ceiling cap, and investors are starting to like back down from it. That's very probably the reason why Xbox is not even really doing much with their damn consoles anymore. On the PC side, you've got tons of options though, depending on how powerful you want your setup to be. Sure, the entry cost is higher. I'm not gonna lie to you, the entry cost, the cost to entry is much higher. Well, not much higher, but a little bit higher but the long-term savings on peripherals, hardware lifespan, and upgradability is massive. I built the system at Micro Center for about like $1,219. Standard prices too. There's nothing really on sale. Like, they want to say sale, but it's not really like sale. It's not like some Black Friday sale or anything. I just looked online, built a PC, and there you go. Had a 6-core AMD CPU, a 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte GPU, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabytes of NVMe SSD, and an all-in-one cooler with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support. You still need a keyboard, mouse, and monitor, however, since trying to use a computer on your TV, it's kind of like it limits your performance a lot, but the peripherals last for years. Like, your keyboard is going to last for years. Your monitor is going to last for years. Your mouse is going to last for years. My $20 Razer Death Adder mouse that I bought 8 years ago still works today, and I played League of Legends on that shit. Got all the way to freaking Diamond 1 with it. Reliable keyboards can cost about $40, and affordable monitors can go on sale constantly from like AOC or Asus Tough Gaming. You can get like really good monitors. You can get a 1080p monitor for like $100 for shit's sakes. You could get a 1440p monitor for $199. It's one of those things where you buy and you forget. A PC pays for itself over time because it does more than just game. You can stream, browse, create, work. It's a full freaking computer. A setup like this might cost $1,400 to $1,500 with its peripherals included, but the flexibility is unmatched. Even my budget $920 Micro Center build with the 5060 8GB GPU instead performs close to an Xbox Series X while still be able to do all these other functions as well. I'm telling you, if you put it into perspective, it gets ridiculous. With DLSS and frame generation, GPUs last longer while keeping visuals sharp. Controllers are cheap and universal, and every controller you love works on PC. You can get a $39 controller, and you can get a $60 controller, and they all work the same way on that PC. And I guarantee you that $39 controller is going to last you a couple years. Trust me, I have one. Add the monthly console subscription and overpriced accessories, and it's crazy how much more value PC gaming gives, especially now that crossplay lets you keep gaming with console friends. It's crazy. Like the crossplay really added here. It really added a lot of value here, because it was always a problem where you felt like you were leaving a entire your friends and stuff like that. Because not everybody's gonna you decide to go over the PC, but your friends may have stayed. You still have crossplay that still works. So it's almost like all the issues that PC used to have is now starting to go away. But enough of this. Let's move on to my third and actually my favorite reason. Freedom in gaming. One of the best things about video games for me is freedom. I grew up in a strict environment, in a strict household, and wasn't really a social type. So being the guy in school with hundreds of friends was never really me. Not to mention, like, it wasn't happening anyways with my kind of my kind of parents and stuff like that. We just, trust me, it just wasn't happening. Games really filled that void, let me explore worlds like RuneScape, Oblivion, Dragon's Dogma. PC gaming took this freedom to a whole new level, though. The ability to fine tune graphics for the perfect balance between performance and visuals is more powerful than that most even realize. People like to say, "Oh man, it's too much shit." Trust me, when you guys really tailor your settings to like your liking, it really becomes an amazing experience that you can enjoy yourself. Combine that with DLSS and you get the game that looks great and plays smoothly, unlike consoles locked to fixed settings just to hit 60 frames per second. Again, it ends up being a blurry mess. Just take a look at Monster Hunter Wilds, for example, on the freaking consoles. It looks horrible. Freedom also extends to where and how you play. Steam is the go-to platform with a proven track record for being for the gamers. They literally only do things involving gaming. If you value preservation and true ownership, try GOG by CD Projekt Red, which offers DRM-free titles that you completely own no matter what happened. No updates, no bullshit, no taking your games away. It will always be there. You can play them offline without any DRMs, without any anti-cheats whatsoever. Amazing. But the biggest advantage is how you can transform games themselves. Modding communities create entirely new experiences. Skyrim alone can feel like 5 different games depending on your setup. Stalker Anomaly is another fan project that could easily pass as a $60 standalone release that came from the Stalker game. PC also brings back classics through private servers and emulators, letting you relive games like Terra, Dragon's Dogma Online, and classic World of Warcraft, things that are now gone and no longer have support. They've brought back into private servers. Emulators breathe new life into old titles with higher resolutions and better performance, giving players endless replayability. In a time where AAA prices keep rising, many gamers are turning back to their old catalogs or their old backlog titles with mods, visual upgrades, and quality of life tweaks. It makes these games a whole new experience, and that shit is amazing to me. This freedom changed everything for me. Over the years, I've played modded Elden Ring, Fallout 4 modded. I've played New Vegas with all kinds of different mods from the Wabbajock playlist. I've used emulators that were designed for the DS and even the Switch, and jumped into private servers for World of Warcraft Classic and Terra and all these other games. Once you try it, it's hard to go back. It really changes how you even view gaming in the first place, and it allows for people who have passions for these things to make things, and for audiences who also have passion for these things to enjoy and support them in just by playing the damn game. And on top of it all, you've got handheld PCs like the Steam Deck or the Legion Go. And these things can take your entire library anywhere, delivering that console feel with PC flexibility. They can even sync with your main setup through like Steam Play, for example, and allows you to play the games that you have in your computer with you on the go, as long as you have a relatively stable internet. For long-time gamers, PC has simply become the default way to play, and honestly, it's not even close. There are compromises. I mean, everything in the world, one thing I learned in biology is the world has trade-offs. That's just how it is. There are trade-offs for everything. But they're not as bad as you may think. Consoles win on simplicity and space. They sit under your TV, and that's it. You get to play it there. My only counter to that is try a handheld PC. If you really are limited in space, try a handheld PC, and you'll be amazed how much enjoyment you can get. I've actually seen people who were once playing on their console, on their PS5s, and they bought like a handheld PC for once, and they can't get off the damn thing. They almost ditched the PS5. They almost ditched the Xbox, because it's crazy how much these things can perform, and you can take it anywhere too. Good luck taking a PS5 with you somewhere. So you'll be surprised how powerful and versatile those things become, though, man. A big concern for many is building a PC too, but there are countless step-by-step guides online that make it simple. Creators like J2Cents, Joey Delgado, and Hardware Unboxed break it all down for free. And if it's not your thing, there are tons of great pre-builds reviewed by like trusted channels out there, Then there's the comfort argument where you want to play on your bed or your couch, stuff like that. I get it, but honestly, when I do that, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I fall asleep in a few minutes. I work hard. I spend 12-hour shifts and stuff like that. When I get home and the moment I hit my couch or I hit my bed, man, if I try to pick up a controller and play, I see those bright lights, I fall asleep. The controller's on somewhere, my character is running straight into a wall, and I'm asleep. you know. So sitting at my setup actually lets me enjoy gaming longer, believe it or not. And even affordable gaming chairs nowadays are surprisingly supportive and comfort. Like this chair right here is literally from Emerge. I think I spent like $120 on this thing, and it comes with like a insurance policy where after like 2 years, and once it gets all dingy and messed up, I can trade this in for a new one. $120 lasted me like what 4 years, and this shit feels amazing to be sitting on. I've been sitting on it for more times than I've been sitting on my damn couch. So yeah, I wouldn't really call that much of an argument, to be honest. If anything, if you're like me and you're working hard nowadays doing two different jobs, which most people in NYC tends to do, you'd probably want to sit on like one of these chairs instead of sleep on your bed. Because trust me, you go right to sleep on your bed, man. Finally, there's the so-called ease of use argument that consoles are plug and play, and this isn't really true anymore. I'm not gonna lie to you, I one time put on my Xbox Series X. I have that shit packed away somewhere. I one time turned on my Xbox. I turned it on only to be faced with an update. Then the console turned off, turned back on, and then I had to update my controller. What the hell? And then after that, I had to then the game turned off again after updating the controller because I had to restart the game again. I mean, the console, and it comes back on. It says I had to sign in. And then when I signed in, I had to now verify my email. I go to my email and verify the goddamn thing. So now I had to go to my phone anyways, the thing I'm trying to be away from, to then verify the fact that my email is that I am the person using this account. And then after that, I had to then update the game. And then after that, the game had to then have shader compilations. And then after that, I had to meet with an Xbox ad about joining Game Pass Ultimate because I've gotten rid of the Game Pass Ultimate. Yes, congratulations. That is very easy of use. I turned my system off after having to do all that. I didn't even bother. When I turn my PC on and I go to Steam and I double click my Steam game, as long as the game doesn't need to update, which is a game issue, that's not a PC issue. Games have to update. As long as the game doesn't have to update, it's fine. And as a matter of fact, I can even turn the updates on, turn my Steam offline, and then just double click my game and there you go. Or I can literally enter Steam's big picture mode and pretend my goddamn desktop doesn't exist. It's not as... People think that they're getting away from like, a bunch of nuances and shit that PC players have to be. PC is only as difficult as what you want to make it. If you want to be a simple two button press person, then by all means, PC got you down. So I really don't think that that's a fair argument at all. And besides, I built back to the whole argument about the small size and not a lot of size. I built my first PC in a small ass NYC studio apartment. And for those who know New York City, man, you know how small those studios can be. It's basically the size of a garage. So trust me, it's doable. If you're in a similar situation as I was in, you already know how to manage space like a pro. So it's more of a, do I want to put the effort in to actually, get something going or have a good experience or one thing. And again, if all that being said, you could just get yourself a handheld PC, which will log it to Steam and do everything you want to do. Conclusion, and my whole point here is consoles are reaching their ceiling in both player base and usability. It's the writing is on the wall with Xbox random $800 cost. This is not because of no damn tariffs. This is quite literally because Xbox sees the writing on the wall. I think even PlayStation is low-key starting to see it too. Investors are starting to see it, and they're trying to almost find ways, exit strategies out of the situation. I don't think these companies can get them on par with PCs while keeping the prices reasonable. Imagine paying $900 or even $1,000 for a console that doesn't even come with a controller sometimes. Well, it comes with a controller, but it doesn't even come with parts that you need, like the stand. At least with a PC, you're getting a multifaceted tool that does far more than just gaming. It's getting harder for little Timmy to convince his mom to buy him a goddamn console, no matter how good his GPA is, especially in times like these. At least with a Steam Deck or a Legion Go, which is something you can buy, you can have a full gaming experience, and it can be more justifiable in the fact that person can play it in the hand. He can have a full gaming experience of a full, a PC setup, if the PC is out of his reach, he can still have those handheld consoles or whatever the case may be. This applies to every household too. Whether you're a dad, a mom, or a bachelor, prices of a $1,000 console is hard to eat, man, because again, the console only games. I mean, yes, you can say you go on the internet, but who the hell goes on the internet for who goes on Internet Explorer on an Xbox? Well, come on now. The beauty of a PC is its upgradability. Parts last a long time, and you can often just upgrade the GPU, sell the old one, and just fund the new one, which is amazing. When a new console generation launches, the previous one's value drops so goddamn fast. It's unbelievable. It makes them a terrible investment in comparison. Like, I told my friend that he can sell his 3060 Ti and get a 5060 Ti. The 5060 Ti is $425 or whatever the case. He could sell his 3060 Ti that he bought 4 or 5 years ago for $225. And now he only has to spend maybe $100 or $200 more for that upgrade to get a tremendous boost in his performance. So you can, and people buy GPUs very rapidly. So a lot of the PC parts you can sell for a relatively good price. Trust me, guys, it's not hard to even sell these things. Sell on eBay, set it off, good to go. And after all the crap that consoles have put us gamers through, poor hardware, pay-to-play multiplayer, ads, 30 frames per second being a thing still for whatever goddamn reason, and now Game Pass charging $30 a month because years of bad decisions finally catching up to them. Nah, man, there's no way I can support this garbage. I'll continue to support Steam, which is a platform that focuses solely on gaming, and I hope someday you do too. This is just something from a gamer to a gamer. Overall, I just wanted to share my thoughts. I'm not really much of like I don't consider myself some tech expert. I know a lot about it, but I'm not some tech expert. But as a lifelong console lover who was blown away with what PC gaming offers, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know your preference down below. I'm sure I missed a few points here and there, but hey, you can make these, you can only make these videos but so long, right? Like, I'm already going up like 22 minutes, maybe 23 minutes at this point. So I got to keep these things like at least somewhat, in length. But let me know down below what you guys think. Stay safe, you guys. I love you all. RPG Shactics is out.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets.